I left my boyfriend because he's attracted to feet, and now I deeply regret it. I was with my ex-boyfriend for a year, and our relationship was amazing. He constantly made me feel loved and always treated me with respect. He was always doing little things for me and would help me with stuff even when I didn't ask. The lovemaking was amazing too. It just felt like we were compatible on every level. About 3 months ago, he told me he had something to confess. He said that he had a foot fetish, and that he hadn't told me about it because an ex had reacted badly, and he didn't want me to think poorly of him. Looking back, it was kind of obvious since he would always compliment my nail polish and was pretty eager to rub my feet if I asked him to. He even paid for me to get a pedicure because he said French tips would look cute on me. Nothing really changed much after that. He wasn't pushy, but he would put my toes in his mouth during lovemaking, which admittedly felt pretty good. A few weeks ago, I was hanging out with 3 of my friends, and I mentioned that he liked my feet. 2 of them started telling me that was a red flag and that he might be a creep. I had seen people who were weird about feet online, but they were showing me all these websites and forums of people who take creepy shots of women's feet, and I started feeling anxious. My 3rd friend, who was there, remained neutral, but suggested I talk to him because he had never given off those kinds of vibes. I stupidly didn't talk to him and pushed it to the back of my mind. 2 days later, we were at my apartment messing around, and he started to kiss my feet. I pulled back. He asked me what was wrong, and I spent 10 minutes repeating what my friends had told me, how people who like feet are weird, and how they don't care about anything else. He looked sad and told me he didn't know I felt that way about him. He got up and left. I don't know why I said any of that stupid stuff to him. He had never been creepy. He had always been loving. But I called him a perv, and then I turned to my friends who told me he was one of those creepy foot guys because he left instead of talking and apologizing. My neutral friend advised me again to talk to him, but I spent 2 days thinking something must be wrong with him. He didn't contact me again, so I texted him, "We need to talk." He texted back that he would come over that night. He showed up with a box of my stuff and said, "I'm not going to stay with someone who thinks I'm a predator." Then he just walked away. I was stunned and didn't say anything, but that quickly turned to anger. I thought my friends were right. He's a creep, and I was glad he was gone. My 2 friends told me they'd help me get over him and hook me up with someone normal. My neutral friend advised me again not to leave things like this, but I didn't listen. Now I realize I'm an idiot. I'm horrible. I deserve everything I get. For the past month, I've been thinking about him, and every time the pit in my stomach gets bigger. It all exploded a week ago when I got drunk and realized I lost the man I loved over nothing. All my fault. I would never be with him again. I sobbed hysterically and called the 2 friends who egged me on. I told them I never wanted to see them again and said some other things I won't repeat here. I blocked them on everything. My other friend tried calling me, but I couldn't bear to talk to her. It was about 1 a.m. when I called him. He hadn't blocked me, so it went through. I begged him to take me back. I told him what my friends had said, that he wasn't a perv, and that I should never have said those things. I told him I loved him more than anything, and that I trusted him. He could do whatever he wanted with any part of my body, and I'd never think he was a creep. He cut me off and told me if I was drinking, I should stop and go to sleep. He sounded sad, and it shattered my heart again. He tried calling me earlier tonight, but I didn't pick up. I'm scared he's going to tell me to leave him alone. I know I deserve it, but I can't do it. I love him so much. I want him to hold me again, touch me, and tell me he forgives me. I feel like throwing up whenever I think he might never be with me again. I wish I wasn't so stupid. Edit. I texted him saying I'd call him tomorrow if he still wanted to talk. He replied that would be fine. As for my friends, I'm going to try to talk to all 3 of them. I'll cut off the 2 who pushed me to this, as I remember little details that make it seem like they never really liked my ex. I'll try calling my other friend tomorrow. I need to apologize to her too. I realize this is 100% my fault. I should have recognized my ex was nothing like they made him out to be. I shouldn't have discussed his interest with them, even if it was just him thinking my feet were cute. I'll tell him all of this when we talk. I texted him again, asking if he'd be okay with meeting in person rather than talking over the phone. I'd rather apologize face to face. He replied that he was fine with that, so I'll be heading over around noon. Let me preface the next part by saying I know none of this absolves me for what I've done, but I want to give context. I've been close friends with the 3 of them since high school, and I've trusted them with a lot of intimate details. We've helped each other through bad times and enjoyed good times. They were my first close friends, and I trusted them the most. Reading a lot of these comments, I realize I have no spine. I've let them make decisions for me my entire life, even with my ex, but that's no excuse for my weakness. I've looked up therapists who accept my insurance, and I'll call one after I finish writing this. I'm scared I'll hurt him again. I don't know if I should tell him any of this, but I'm writing notes to organize my thoughts. I'm going to apologize first and let him decide what to do, even if it means I'll never see him again. Final edit. We decided to meet at a park. I was nervous when I saw him walking up. I felt the urge to cry, but I composed myself. It got worse when he hugged me, but I didn't want him to think I was manipulating him. I told him the truth. I was messed up. He looked sad, and I asked if I could apologize before we talked about anything else. I read my apology, telling him I was sorry for making him feel unsafe, for ever insinuating he was a perv, for betraying his trust, and for everything else. He started tearing up, and I couldn't hold it anymore and cried while I finished. I told him I was truly happy with him and hoped he wouldn't be put off from exploring his interests with someone else. He thanked me, and we cried together for a little while. He started talking and told me that 2 of my friends had contacted him because they were worried about me. I didn't get a lot of details, but it deflated me a bit. I worried he might think I was trying to manipulate him. He quickly moved on and told me about his ex. They had been together longer than we had, and when he told her about his fetish, she immediately left. He said what I did hurt more because it felt like I had accepted him only to stab him in the back. We were quiet for a while before he asked if we were done. I should have been strong and said I'd go with whatever he decided, but I'm weak. I asked if there was any chance we could still be together. He said he still had feelings for me but couldn't handle being hurt again. I mentioned starting therapy, and he was happy, but it wasn't changing his mind. He said there might be a chance in the future after I've worked on myself, but right now he was too hurt. We hugged and said goodbye, and I fought the urge to run after him. I know I screwed up, but I'm taking steps to make sure it doesn't happen again. I'll call my neutral friend and apologize for not talking to her. I don't know about the other 2 friends, and I don't know about anything else. I've spent 5 of the last 6 hours crying, and I'm exhausted. I'll keep looking for therapists in the morning. Quick edit. This will be the last post. I slept for a while, and my neutral friend came over. She wasn't mad, just concerned. I apologized, and it felt good after everything that had happened. I'll go to therapy to make sure I never hurt anyone like this again. I probably won't post on this account again. Goodbye.